There we
There
go.
you go. Yeah, so these are things that he had talked about before. He's always been big on, oh, there he is, on luxury, and trying to really gather people to kind of keep him going. And then it kind of went up and then it went down, like a lot of us saw, right? The market, everything shifted. Everything shifted. So it wasn't really what we were normal to, and now we have to make adjustments. And so I think that's where Rob is. Hey, Rob, how are you? Your microphone's not working. Yeah, so I think he did do a lot of leads. So he'd ramp up his ad campaigns and really generate a lot of leads. And he had campaigns, different programs in place that really helped him out with that. So now he's looking to take that big nest egg of leads and gain a higher conversion rate from them, and how to go about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rob, are you with us here yet? Not yet. Not yet. He's having audio.
He's with us, but not with us.
Yes, he's with us, but not.
Well, I want to tackle one of the topics that he brings up that's always been I don't know, it's always been a point of contention for me, because the industry has really positioned itself to focus on the conversion ratio and the conversion rates. And this is just my opinion, but I don't feel that that is a great way to scale. He's talking about a 10%. How can I get a conversion rate of it like 10% of the leads that came in this year? Well, the reason that I'm not all in love with that phrase or terminology is, depending upon the amount of time that you have been generating leads, there's no true way to completely identify an accurate conversion ratio, because it's not like I'm going to go and buy orange juice today and drink it all in 3 days. And so I got to buy 2 because I need it in the 4th day and I don't want to go back to the store. Right? It's a lead comes in today and they may not buy for 3, 4, 5 years. So you've converted it, but when do you put that into your conversion ratio? So when you're looking at a conversion rate, there's no real true way to say that you have a percentage. And why I like to go off of conversation rate and pipeline and moving those leads in those statuses to be able to see what quality conversations that we are having. And by tagging the leads, you can really see where the biggest objections are. Because if you have a lot of leads that are in has agent, that is an objection that we really have to go a little bit deeper to overcome, because we have way too many leads in that tag in and of itself. So that we can scale. We can scale conversations and improve conversations. But as far as the conversion ratio, I just really want to stretch everyone's mind to focus on the conversations and scaling that versus it being an actual like conversion.
Yeah, and really, and one of the things is our conversion rate, standardly speaking, is like 1 to 2%, right, of all the leads that we're generating in any given year. But the longer we're doing this, then if he'd been doing this for 5 years, been consistent with this for 5 years, then yes, you may be hitting at 10%, but a lot of those people are from 5 years ago as well, right? So we're having 1% from 5 years, or 2% from 5 years ago, 2% from 4 years ago, 2% from 3 years ago, and so on. So it can be difficult. It's not to hit that in your first year for sure, because you'd be banging on people that are all ready to transact. Majority of them are ready to transact this year,
yep.
Which is wishful thinking, I think.
Well, and even so too, how deep do you go with the conversion? Because you convert somebody today and they become a client, but then they buy again, or their kids buy, or they refer somebody. Like that's technically, in my opinion, a conversion from a lead that you acquired. So how deep do you go in that conversion ratio?
Yes. No, that makes sense. That makes sense, because a lot of
Because you wouldn't have the lead in the first place, and you wouldn't have the second deal or the third deal, and there's really nothing to snowball from.
Yes.
But to your point, the longer that you have the dashboard, the more that you nurture it, the more that you work it, you really should be creating, and our focus really needs to be on how many people are we putting in our pipeline to position ourselves for that conversion. Because then it's our responsibility. We can't just look at our database and go, okay, we acquired 400 leads this year. What's my conversion ratio? Well, what have you done?
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to have a conversion ratio if you're not doing everything possible with having as many conversations as what you could be having. Do you have that strategy in place that you can track to improve over the next course of the year? Struggling?
Yeah, he is. He's having a hard time.
I think I saw that he wants to call some leads. Can you text him? I need the 4-digit code.
Yeah. Well, we can't call you because then you're not going to be on the audio here. That's the only thing.
I can still get into his database though.
Yeah. So if Beverly, did you already try to get into his system?
I did. Oh,
9109.
He texted it. I got it. All right. Holy schnookies, 8,001 leads. There's just a few in here. I love this. That's quite a database.
There's a lot.
Chris, how long has he had AgentLocator?
Rob has had
7 years. So Rob, how many have been imported?
And he did ramp a lot up, yeah. None.
All AgentLocator. Wow.
Trying to think. His oldest order goes back to 2018.
Wow, beautiful. Okay, now the tried and true question. How confident are you that the leads are in the proper stages of the pipeline in regards to try to contact and make contact? Do you feel, on a scale of 1 to 10, how organized are they? 3. I love the honesty. And it's one of those things where you log in, you're like, oh my God, like I'm a geek. So I'm like, 8,000 leads. Oh my God. It's like, there's so much opportunity, but it is very overwhelming whenever you jump in and you open it up. You're like, oh my God, what do I do? Where do I start? Right. It's complete deer in headlights. Yeah. 400 is a lot in a year. Please tell me you have a team and it's not just you. 3. Okay. And that's even, all right, 400 leads. All right, let's do some simple math that I suck at. My wife, daughter. Okay. How many does that break down to in a month? Probably 40, because we're like in the 10th month. So that was easy math.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, that's not bad. Yeah, 35 or so. So yeah, 40-ish leads a month. Okay, so it's not too crazy. And gathering from your email, the consistency isn't there. Is that correct? You guys have been busy doing business and not real consistent with working the leads. Is that correct? Okay. All right. Very inconsistent. So between the 3 of you, Rob, what are the chances of being able to create some new habits to get consistent? And who would that person be? And I'm going to share my screen. That would be you. Okay. So are you more the one working on the business and your other two are working in the business? I'm going to share screens because I'm flipping back and forth right now. You have fast typer, just saying. Okay, you do all the phoning. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Why is that doing that? There we go, share. Okay. All right, so here's my next question, Rob, is how much time in a day, and I'm not looking for a big bulk of time, don't give me like 2 hours, I don't need that much time. How much time realistically do you have in a day to start creating new habits? Because I come from that space of if you're going to start creating new habits, let's set you up for the biggest potential of the amount of conversations and really factor in AI is a beautiful thing. So I want to know, with all of you that are listening right now, have any of you played with Chat GPT? Because it's freaking powerful. All right, I'm going to just take a peek here while we're waiting for him to respond. I say he's a fast typer and then I lose him. I am going, let me close this out. Close out my chat. All right. So what I want to look at and what I really determine, because when we're looking at 8,000 leads, it's like, whoo, that's a lot. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to add my filter item in the pipeline. No, I always pull the wrong one. Just the pipeline, Bev. I just want to see who is in the I've never spoke to you phase. And then we're just going to apply that and just see how many out of the 8,000. 1969. Okay. So now, like this one, bad phone number, right? Or I'm sorry, opted out. So now, because we want to make some phone calls, let's go to the phone and let's just look at ones that we don't know and ones that are confirmed valid and see what that brings us down to. 557. Now, this is one of those like, what? 8,000 leads? And there's only 557 that have an unknown and or valid phone number that are in the not set new lead try to contact. That number seems so small based on the 8,000. So that leaves me a question mark to say, where are the other 7,500? Because we all know the majority of our dashboard are leads that we've never spoke to. So that leads me to guess.
Look at the non-responsive as well. Those are typically people that we haven't. So if you look on the pipeline, it would be the non-responsive.
Yep, let me close this and I'll add that. So Crystal, good question. The non-responsive, is there anything that automatically moves the lead to that pipeline stage?
Yes, it depends on when you signed up with us. Okay. So, or if you had training, or whatever it is.
So it depends on when the agent signed up, or it depends on when the lead signed up?
No, when the agent, because we manually adjust it now to being calls. By default, it's 10 calls or emails with no response that moves it to that. Previously, we changed it to 10 calls. Now it's at 14 calls before they move to non-responsive. So it's really like, we want you to be calling these people daily for every 2 weeks. And then if you're still unsuccessful, that's when their pipeline moves.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, is it either or? Because I'm only seeing, well, I don't know.
So his might very well, and I can look at his might be very well set, or I might have changed it actually when I was in there.
Because it did go up from
earlier.
557 to 2397. So
Yeah.
1,500 were in non-responsive.
And a lot of those could be triggered because I think I changed it today when I was adding the blur feature because it was at 10 calls and SMSs combined. Like, so if there was like 3 calls and 7 text messages, I changed it to just calls because obviously the text campaigns were triggering the non-responsive, not, before the agent had enough sufficient calls on them.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of those, yeah.
So when I'm looking at the database, Rob, I'm looking at it as a couple of different segments. So for you to create those new habits, looking at your dashboard from a pipeline perspective, you have 2,397 leads that you have no idea where they are in the process because you've never had a conversation. That just excites me, because the reality of this is the fun, right? We can go to the activity and let's sort from most recent first. Now, obviously, it'll probably give us our most recent registered, but look at this. Back in 2021, non-responsive, it's been 2 years since a phone call. Now, 1 day with an email. Now, Crystal, question for you on these 405 emails. Are these part of a campaign, or are these all property searches that have been emailed?
It would depend on his. So he's got his, obviously, listings. And I think Rob also was sending or has his own emails that he might send, or marketing, mass emails, or maybe possibly address. Rob, do you have any additional email addresses that you send out to people as well?
I don't know. You're breaking up, and I don't know if it's you or if it's me. And if it's me, I'm concerned because I don't want to start making phone calls because they won't hear me. So I don't know whose internet is bogging.
I can look in his.
You're back. Can someone pop in the chat and let me know, is Crystal breaking up on your all's end too? Okay, so okay, that's thank you. Yay. Okay, perfect. Because I was like, I'm like straining and trying to hear her. All right. So are you all seeing what I'm talking about here? This is great potential. So if I'm going to jump into a dashboard, this is absolutely where I want to start. Leanne has a lot of potential here. Now, the odds of her answering the phone, right? 5 phone calls 2 years ago. And this is what I'm going to go back to when I'm talking about that conversion ratio, because, okay, you generated 400 leads this year, but if you convert her, are you going to count that as your 10% conversion rate, right? Because she's not one of your 400 that came in this year. So we have to look at the entire database collectively and work it all. So what I was talking about, Crystal, let's see if you've got connection back.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Anything? Okay. Yep. His campaign he has for buyers has 29 emails included into it. So some of those, the majority, I'm going to say, of those emails are listings. And then there's some that are part of his drip. And then, of course, if he's sending anything one-off,
well, this is bananas. Look at these emails: 376, 108, 160, and they haven't unsubscribed. Oh my gosh. These leads have been in here for years. Now this one, okay, these came in this year. But I mean, for the most part, man, this is so exciting. And looking at 4 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, hello. And, incubation time. I mean, let's just think about this. People have access to be able to look at any given moment for any reason. It doesn't mean they're moving today because they Googled and they fell into your database. So just erase out of your memory the fact that I'm going to convert Wendy Campbell because she came in today and she wants to buy a house. she may not be buying for years. It may be her daughter, it may be her brother, it may be her son. We have no idea. And that's why I like to focus on the conversations. And then really kind of take my temperature on what I'm doing in my dashboard based on the tags. Because then you can go back to your tags and say, man, I got a lot of people relocating, or man, I got a lot of people that already have an agent, or a lot of people that already bought. And then you know how to course direct. So I am going to attempt a few phone calls here. We'll just start. I'm just going to leave it at 2,397 leads. But this just kind of shows you can have 2,397 leads in a category, but just sort them. You could sort them based on their activity, based on their registration date, based on a price range, based on whatever it is you feel like that day. But this was always my favorite, the activity, because yes, it's going to pull a lot of the leads that just came in. However, the most important leads are the ones that just came in, because the quicker we can get a conversation to find out where they are in the process, get them sorted with a priority in our dashboard, that's really setting the stage. Because let's face it, 95% of all of the databases that Leanne is in, she's probably not getting phone calls from anybody. And she's probably been in multiple dashboards for a long, long time. But what happens when somebody starts to get serious about looking? They increase. And it's always fun to go back and look at their habits. Like, how many they look at a year ago? They may have been dormant for 6 months, been dormant for a year, and now they've kicked it up again and they're starting to search again. So let's see what we can make happen. Did anybody answer the chat GPT? Please tell me someone's using the chat GPT, because I do want to talk a little bit about that today.
I haven't seen anyone type up with respect to it.
So I'm going to ask again, who's using chat GPT? Who doesn't know what chat GPT is? I hear no ringtone. I would be inclined to dial this manually, because I didn't hear any dial tone there. It obviously went through, but I didn't hear a dial tone. I would dial it manually right back, just to verify that it is indeed a good number. Crystal, I have a question for you.
Yeah, well, Sackett is saying that he's been using chat GPT for client responses.
Ah, I like that. Yay. So we have one person. Okay.
Ava isn't aware of what it is.
Okay. Yeah. Yay. Beautiful. Okay. So AI is a thing. We are in 2023. And it really is a lot smarter than what we are. We just have to be very detailed in what we're asking ChatGPT. All you need to do is just Google ChatGPT, use the free version, no reason to upgrade, and just say, I have internet leads that registered to view homes 1 year ago and have been completely inactive in my database. What email can I send? What text can I send? And whoop, modified a little bit to fit your style. But it's a really great way to work your database, because, you know, the one thing that I find in this industry is we don't trust our own instincts, and we're afraid to send out that text message until we ask somebody if it's an okay text, or if we ask somebody if it's an okay email, or if we know that we've given it to somebody, or we've received it from somebody that it actually works, right? So we're always afraid to take that initiative forward. But if you're asking ChatGPT, you're asking that third party, and that third party is giving it back to you. So it must be true, right? So you're initiating the thought, but it's giving you back the creation. And it really does make it seamless for you to take action. And it takes all of the thought process out of it and all of the kind of hesitation and the second guessing. And that way you've got a text message completely defined for your database. And just be very clear. And that's why having the leads in the right stages of the pipeline, having your leads tagged properly, you can go into ChatGPT and be very specific. Hey, these leads in particular were relocating. Give me a quick text message that I could use to generate a response. And boom, there you have it.
Yeah. I'll post in here. I just quickly did it while we're on here. So this is what I asked ChatGPT. Okay, it gave me several responses. One is a friendly check-in. This is one of the responses it gave me. Market update response. That's what it gave me. New listings or properties. It won't allow me to do it all at once for some reason, that one there.
Well, you can even ask, give me 10 text responses or give me 10 texts that I could send that would generate a response for a lead that blah, 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 blah. And then you'll have 10 text messages. Ask for 5.
Yeah. This one here is like a special offer incentive.
And you could even ask for a drip email campaign as well for a particular audience. And what's really beautiful about this is taking it next level, right? Depending on what your niche is, depending on your avatar, you can really get creative and speak directly to, right, the market and your clients, and start to sift out and attract the people that you're looking for.
Yeah, it's really, you can have it write songs. You can get really creative with it.
It's so intuitive. It's
you could go in there and you can get
it's
stuck
scary,
in there for
exciting.
a little bit.
It's very scary. The world of technology.
The call has been forwarded to an automatic voice messaging system.
So, Rob, if you're still with us, did he ever answer, Crystal, how much time he had to devote a day?
No, Rob. How much time do you spend in your system daily?
Well, I want to know how much time he can start spending, because he hasn't been consistent. So to try to create new habits, I want to know how much time he could invest.
About an hour or so, he said.
I don't even want an hour. Just give me 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes. Don't overload yourself. It's kind of like going to the gym. You haven't been to the gym for 3 years. And you're like, I'm going to go every day and I'm going to be there an hour a day, right? After the 7th day, you're like, oh my God, I can't move. And then you don't go for a week. So 15 minutes, but make that 15 minutes count. And if y'all haven't heard me before, the 23-second rule. I know I'm sitting here chatting in between and blah, 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 all, everything that we're doing here, but literally we have all the leads pulled up at the top bar. You see my countdown, 15, 16, 17, 23 seconds, hang up, go next. And you are going to create callbacks. And I don't know why I'm not hearing ringing on the other side. It's very odd. I still think it's ringing on the other side. We're just not hearing it on this side. But again, I can't stress the fact enough that when your phone rings, we all love to have that power of turning the phone off and sending that call to voicemail. There's just something about, if my phone would ring right now, I would just whoop, right, send it to voicemail. If the phone stops ringing before I have the opportunity to send it to voicemail, I'm like, hey, wait, who was that? And then I'm more inclined to call back to see who it was, because I lost that control. I think I just dialed this one. Which is why 23 seconds next, 23 seconds next, because we don't know how many times it's ringing on their end. And if it only rings once, that's even better, because it's raising that question of, hey, who just called me? And at the end of the day, now be prepared if your phone rings and you know it's a lead to say, hey, this is Beverly. And they will say one of two things. I just missed a call from this number, Or you just tried calling me? Or did you just try calling me? Oh yeah, you must be online looking at homes, or you must have been online looking at homes. And then you can just say, like, in the general area, and this one, it looks like Calgary, because I'm sure that, I mean, I don't know, some markets are like really widespread. So if Calgary makes sense, or you can say Calgary and surrounding areas, whatever it may be, but say, oh yeah, I've been making some phone calls. You must have been online looking at some homes. Now we're hearing ringing.
You have reached the voicemail box of Monica Newen.
That's a good number. Now, see, she probably sent me a voicemail because it rang and then it went to voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't give me the 23 seconds to hang up.
Oh.
You know, that's the thing, right? Like, when your cell phone rings, if you don't get it within the first 4 rings, it's not going to be a great conversation, because that person is not prepared to have a phone call, because they're either in a rush to hang up the phone and get to you because they're in the middle of a conversation, or they're carrying the groceries out of their car into their house and their hands are full, or they're carrying the baby.
Well,
Hi, this is Beverly. Is this Cole?
yeah.
Hey, Cole, just want a quick check-in. I see that you had been online looking at some homes in the Calgary area, and just wondering if you have plans or kind of what you're looking for.
I think you have the wrong number.
I do? Okay, so this
I
is Cole,
think
though,
so.
right?
Yeah, but I have not been looking for any homes.
How about a couple years ago?
No,
Not at all? All righty. Well,
no.
I will change your phone. Do you happen to be wanting to look for homes in the future?
Maybe in the future. I'm 18 right now, so.
Oh,
anytime
it'd be the
soon.
way future.
Yeah.
All right, Cole. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Yeah, no problem. You too.
Bye-bye. Now, if I would have been able to see his email, I would have confirmed the email address. But because I couldn't see the email, I didn't confirm the email address. So 18 years old, I get a lot of it was a school project. He could have been on, who knows? He could have had a fight with his parents and gone online and went, hey, I was for sale, right?
But
No
it was
one
active just 2 days ago, right? So he is, his name is, it's Cole. It says the email address it doesn't say his name. It has his last name in it, but it doesn't say his first name, which is interesting, right?
So his dad
unless,
could be Cole, right? But
maybe they're like, he needs to get out. We're gonna start listing. Who knows, right?
this is Cole, but this is not Cole. So I would change this to a wrong number. But I would activate the bad phone number campaign. Absolutely. And then we'll go ahead. This is not the Cole that is looking, but his name is. And the only reason you want to notate this is if they do respond to an email, right? But don't question it. Don't overthink it. Don't say your leads suck. People put other people's names in here all the time. So we have no idea what was going on, but I am going to mark this as a wrong number. We're going to leave that in there. If you want to put in this lead description, it is Cole, but he is only 18 and not looking. Not a good number. That way we know. So we are going to go to e-campaigns, and we're going to select a campaign. I just start typing bad. Oh, is it not in here? Or is it under phone? Is there no bad phone campaign in here? No.
Depends on when he signed up. It'd be the bad number campaign, but let me just see. Here. Let me just add here. Give me 1 second. Hit refresh.
I'm I'm probably going to lose Cole, aren't I? Oh, no, it went back to him.
No. If you hit refresh on his campaign, he'll have that campaign in there now.
Haha. That was value all in itself. Now we're going to click assign. Yes, we're going to assign it. And that is one lead that is out of our 2,397 now. And I know I've called her. So I think when I refreshed, it took me out of a natural order here. I know that I already called that one. Connie is, let me skip forward here. There we go. All right. So Rob, I'm going to go back and talk about the 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes a day, absolutely 100%. Everyone should be focusing on leads that you've never talked to and really start to work through the database. And with every day, just challenge yourself, right? Okay, today, 15 minutes, I made this many phone calls. I had this many conversations. Tomorrow, do 15 minutes again and see how many phone calls and see how many conversations. And just do that for a few days and kind of have fun with it. And then a few days later, challenge yourself. Say, I'll go for 20 minutes and see what happens. And then you're going to start to develop metrics to be able to know what to expect within a time frame. And honestly, before you know it, in an hour's time frame, you should be able to dial like 40, 50 leads. And that's the beauty, right? Because now make the focus more about the organization and having these 2,396 leads, getting them somewhere. How many conversations can I have out of these 2,396 leads? And then you can start focusing on the tags and who is in the contacted stage. Are they tagged? Are they empty? What is going on with them? Because that is where your leads get lost. Once they're moved to a contacted, they're not going to fall through your filters of leads that you've never spoke to.
Hello.
Hey, Brenda.
Hi.
This is Beverly doing a quick check-in. I see that, well, a while ago you had registered to look at some homes online, and it looks like you may just kind of be watching some emails and looking in the Calgary and surrounding areas, and just wondering if you have plans or if you just like to look online.
We do have plans, but they've been delayed. But
Okay.
I'm still watching because I kind of want to know when the time comes what I've seen for what price. Yeah.
Of
So yeah,
course.
we're still looking, but we've had we have a situation with my mom who's terminally ill, so we're just staying closer to her right now.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's going to happen in the future at some point. I think we're looking more for Cochrane now, though.
Okay. Do you want
Yeah.
me to have your search adjusted maybe?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I mean, we're still looking at Calgary too,
Okay.
but I just, from what I can see, the price, you get a little bit more out in Cochrane. I don't, so far
Okay.
from what I'm seeing, but
Okay.
I mean, that's, I don't know. I
Yeah.
still like to compare.
100%. Well, you know, it's get your money's worth, right? And
Yeah,
watching the market,
exactly.
you're able to really make some decisions. As far as a check back in, you've been getting emails from Rob, I believe. As far as checking back in, Brenda, when would be just a good time to check in and just kind of take your temperature and see how things are going? We're sending you the right properties.
Well, as far as seriously, it's a waiting game right now, so we don't know. But I would say now we probably wouldn't put our house on the market till next spring.
Okay.
Just because we have, the situation with we want to show our yard off because that's a huge drawing point to
Okay.
the property. So I wouldn't want to try to sell it in winter because, you know, it just doesn't look as attractive.
Yeah.
So, and we can't go anywhere anyway. So
Right.
we'll revisit it next spring.
All righty. Well,
Yeah.
I will make a note in here and we'll kind of tweak your search a little bit. Is there a price range that you're trying to stay within, or are you just trying to keeping your options open to see what's happening with the market?
Well, probably around the no higher than 500.
Okay. And is there a significant amount of bedrooms and bathrooms that you have to have?
Not really.
Okay.
No, I mean it would be nice to have obviously two bedrooms.
Okay.
I don't know if we'd need three.
Okay.
I would kind of like to have more than one kind of gathering area.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know a lot of townhouses and condos just have one kind of family room, and I mean we're used to having three, so I don't know what that would be like for us. But I mean obviously we're gonna have to test it.
Yeah.
Something quite a bit smaller all the way around, because we're that's the stage we're going for. You know, like we're not. We want to get away from big house, big yard eventually.
So downsizing. Where's your home at now?
Medicine Hat.
Okay.
But our daughter and granddaughter live in Calgary, so, and we have friends up there, and we just want to be closer. We're tired of the 3-hour drive.
Yeah, no, I get you. All right. Well, I will make some notes here and we'll get your search tweaked a little bit and just do a check-in and just see how things are going and see if you have any questions about the market and just start developing the relationship as we go. And I hope everything's okay with Mom.
Yeah, sounds good. And if you guys can think of anywhere else that would be sort of like, we don't want to be too far out of Calgary, but like Cochrane's nice, or I don't know anything about High River, Airdrie, Okotoks. I really don't. I don't know if that's something worth looking at.
Okay.
But
I will let Rob know and have him set the search and then maybe just follow up with you in a week or two just to kind of talk about the different locations and what your expectations are. Then that way, you know, you can really start to kind of hone in since you're thinking possibly springtime, because that's right around the corner, right? We'll blink and it'll be here.
Exactly. Okay. Well, thanks for checking in.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, Brenda. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. That's a pipeline one. She was divulging information without me even asking. That is definitely, and she's not even in the area. So she is, in my opinion, a slam dunk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why I asked her as far as location. And, you know, it was important at that point to know how many bedrooms, what's a have to, what's a must. Now we know her pain, right? She wants to be near her daughter and her granddaughter, but then we got a mom situation going on. So that next conversation, how's Mom? Right? Make it personal. Keep it personal. How's your daughter doing? Oh, how old is your granddaughter? Get them talking about their life, their family, what's going on. And oh my gosh, now, you know, they want to show off their landscaping. She's very proud of her landscaping. Make that a focal point in your conversations. Find out what flowers she likes. Find out what she planted. You know, what does she love so much about it? Because that's giving you clues on what areas would be good for her. So this is what I mean by it's not so much about a conversion rate, it's about a conversation rate and how many people you can add to your follow-up. This, in my opinion, she is qualified for time on the calendar, because if you do everything that you are supposed to be doing, you have a 70% chance or more of getting her to close. Now, it sounds like, I don't know the area that she mentioned. I'm sure I totally butchered the spelling of these names of the areas, but then I'm like, oh wait, that Cochrane area. I'm like, ooh, it's spelled right there. I stole.
And Medicine Hat is kind of like medicine, like the word medicine.
Yeah, so I doubt that you'll be listing the property, but referral, you know, and that's where, so you heard me say, following up and talking expectations. Don't try to sell her anything. Don't try to get them in a house. Talk about what it is that she expects for $500,000. Do they want a fixer upper at $300,000? Are they willing to do that? Or do they want everything done and already, and are they willing to go a higher price? And, you know, she says below $500,000, she's looking 300 to 500. So what are her expectations in the price ranges? And then what was the other area she said her house was in, or it lives in Madison Hat? She made a mention about another area, Calgary. High, what was it? High what?
River or something like that. There's Okotoks. So it's just surrounding areas, you know, what areas maybe to focus on. That's something that Rob would definitely be able to assist her with, right? Is those surrounding areas that are outside of the city, but knowing where the daughter lives, what side of Calgary she should be staying on to avoid having to drive through Calgary to get to those areas as well.
So just refine her search. I'm just gonna put it, oh, I guess I don't need that one. Normal, that's fine. I'll set it for today. I don't know what time zone you're in. I'll just say 5 o'clock.
No, so it'll be 3.
There we go. Oh, it went to 9 p.m. There we go. No, I just hit the wrong button, didn't I?
Yeah, just hit save.
I hit show completed. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So when you set up her search, be sure to set up another task for the next phone call. Or while you're in here, when you're having the conversation, you can set up the next phone call task. And I would say just do it, you know, in no hurry. Heck, she's been in here for 762 days.
Yeah.
So give her a call in a couple of weeks and say, hey, you talked to Beverly the other day, you know, a week or so ago, and just wanted to call and check in and let you know that I did set up your search. And you mentioned the High River area, and I just want to get an idea of your expectations on what it is that you really truly do want. And it does sound like that she has to sell before they do make that purchase, and they're not going to make any decisions until something happens with mom. But we made 5 dials maybe ish, and we had a great conversation. There's so much opportunity in here.
Definitely. Like I said, those older leads, I tell people all the time, those older active leads are generally more willing to actually have those conversations with you.
Well, and because they're not getting their phones blown up. And, you know, the only way their phones are being blown up is because they have become more active because they're getting closer to that search point. But I love her, right? She's like the ideal client because she has been watching the market for 700 and some days, and she knows what's going on with prices. So she is educated and she's open to listening to your expertise. Now this one, I have no idea how to say that name. So I'm like, hey, this is Beverly. I see you online.
Turkey?
I don't know. I don't like to take the chance of butchering it. This is again 446 days. Have any questions or anything come in, Crystal?
You muted myself. I did.
I saw your mouth moving.
I said, Allie has asked, how do you decide who to call? Old leads, leads that never called, or leads that picked up the phone 1 year ago? So again, if you're using that activity, let's say the filter, we're going in that, and obviously it's going to be a mixed bag of people. You know, you sorted them by activity. So regardless of when they registered, we haven't made contact with them and they're the most recently active. Would you refine that even further and focus on a specific audience, or just kind of call all of them because they all kind of fall in the same bucket? As you know, we may have tried calling them, we may have not tried calling them, they may have not answered, whatever it might be, but we still haven't made contact with them.
Yeah, it's all of them. What's your goal today? And, you know, if you become goal focused, you know, you can really have a lot of fun with it. Say, I'm going to see how many times I get hung up on today, right? I'm going to see how many people already bought. I want to see how many conversations I want to have. I want to call everybody that has been inactive in the last 60 days. They haven't logged in at all. I want to call all the people that have been active in the last 2 weeks. I want to call all the people that registered in the last 2 weeks, right? Sky's the limit. Just do it. And, you know, that's why I always stress, you know, it's 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. It's realistic. Everybody can do 15 minutes. You know, it doesn't take a lot of time to carve out the 15 minutes. Just be clear when you sit down that you're taking that 15 minutes of dial time. Don't sit here and sift through and look at the homes they were looking at. Just get that call filter. And that is what is so wonderful. Let's just go back to the filters. Because I can promise you, when I pop in here, it's not going to take me back to the
Yeah, go to the homepage first.
I was thinking that after I hit it, I'm like, this isn't going to work. All right, so let me clear this. Because I don't know if it's on the filter that I wanted. So if I go to apply save filter, and this is why I always create a game for it, because I like that process of elimination. I like taking my big bulk of so many leads, 156, get them out of there, man, call them. And especially this right here, like there's no number, like you don't need to be in there. Let's mark it as a bad number and get it out of there. Because there's just no number there. So invalid, let's activate the campaign. We can't activate it from the front, can we?
No, you have to jump in there to do it. Yeah. But that's somebody he manually added as well, just so you know.
This one was manually
added lead.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah, he just sold them a home, he said. Yeah, he just sold them a home.
So it's important to have them in the right stage. Move them to sold.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, put them to sold.
So she's out now. So yeah, there's 155 leads in this category. And Crystal, remind them again what this category is and how
those are exactly. So those are all the leads in your system where the number of calls is equivalent to 0, meaning you guys have either not called these people or you failed to log that call. Phone validity is either valid or unknown, meaning we're not including people that you've deemed that number to be invalid, and their pipeline is indicating that we have yet to make contact with these people, right? So this list ideally should be empty and stay empty. It's one of those, I call it your buckets, that should be emptied every single day.
I added non-responsive. I want to see if it changes.
Yeah, you can have yeah. There's going to be for him, for sure. there will be.
Yep. So save as new. So I want to just, can I just override it?
Yeah, you can hit update.
Update. There we go. That's what I wanted. I knew there was an easy way to do it. There we go. So 15 minutes a day. And you can sort this list if you choose to. You can sort it by price. I mean, sky's the limit on what you can do in here, but I would not sit in here and dial all 321 at one time, because what's going to happen? They're all going to go to the next filter all at the same time. So 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, clear it out, clear it out. It's going to create the good habits. It's going to create the consistency. And I promise you, just today alone, we had a great conversation with Brenda.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. You don't need to set the world on fire. You just need to be consistent. And, you know, I'm seeing how many leads in here are 0, 0, 0 calls, right? We're totally relying on the email and the text messages, guys. Nothing replaces a phone call. And if they don't answer, don't worry about it. It's 23 seconds of your time, 23 seconds next, 23 seconds less. You already paid for the leads. This is only costing you your time, and your time is money if you can get conversations with these people and categorize them properly and build that pipeline. All you need is about 10 Brendas, and you're going to be stacking yourself up for a nice next few months. And, you know, I look at it as stacking the year, right? And a lot of people get frustrated because like, oh my God, she's not until spring. But guess what? If Brenda called you in April and said, hey, I'm putting my home on the market and I'm moving to Calgary, can you help me look for a home? You're not going to say no. So what is the difference of you actually cultivating that lead and working with it and turning it in April versus them just calling you out of the blue? Because honestly, if you would have been doing this back in April, May of this year, you probably would have had a Brenda to be talking to today.
Mhm.
And that's where we kind of lose sight, right? We lose sight on what we weren't doing 6 months ago, what we weren't doing 4 months ago, what we weren't doing 3 months ago. And that's why we're starting at square one right now. So start back at your square one and build that pipeline. And
That could really be a call goal too. It could be, you know, you keep calling your new leads, people you haven't spoke to till you get a Brenda. Until I have one good conversation, I'm going to keep calling. So whether it takes me 5 calls, 10 calls, 20 calls, and then the rest of your time that you may have devoted is just simply following up those Brendas you've already talked to, doing the check-ins on them.
Yeah. And you know what? The best piece of advice that I can give you is get out of your head. Just sit down and do it. There is nothing to be afraid of. Do not let your fear win.
Mhm.
Because if you let fear win, you're never going to have a conversion rate anywhere close to what you want. Don't let not having time be an excuse. Don't let anything be an excuse. Because if you want to improve your conversion rate, if you want to have conversations, you have to start getting in here and being consistent and pick up that phone.
Absolutely.
Yes. Rob, has this been helpful? Not that I can hear you.
You had
but
to bounce. You had
oh,
to
you
bounce
have
out.
to bounce. Okay.
Oh,
you have to go.
Yeah. Yeah. He had to leave just now. He just left. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, wait, dialing still works, guys. I don't care what year it is. I don't care what time it is. And, you know, people are like, what's the best time to call? Anytime.
Mhm.
Just don't keep calling the same leads at the same time. That's all.
Mhm.
But there's no
Yep.
bad time to pick up the phone and dial through your 15 minutes. No bad time at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it was a good session, I think, today there, Beverly.
Of course it was. And I'm not going to see you. Oh my gosh, it's going to be November.
Oh, don't say that.
It's crazy. I can't believe we're like end of the year.
I know, right? It's pretty soon. Well, hopefully it'll be spring again, sooner than we know.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll see you in a couple
Awesome.
weeks.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks. And thanks everyone for
Bye,
jumping on. We'll see you all
everybody.
soon. Bye.